No Angie tonight. She's in bed already. Hello, YouTube. Let's do a little story time. How about that? Okay, let's go back to a little story time. This is when we used to live down south in the town. We were young and stupid, just like everybody else, young and stupid. And because the younger folks may learn a thing or two on this with our advice by learning from our mistakes too, like everybody else does. When we used to live down south in the town, we've always been out there partying, hooping and hollering, going on trips that didn't mean nothing. We just go there and come right back. Don't even do anything. We decided once again we took one of these baseball trips, and Angie was able to, get tickets and all that stuff, and I didn't really want to go because rent was due at the time down there. At the time, it was about half of what it is up here, but down there we didn't make as much then that we do now, technically. Even for part-time work, we were working full-time. We didn't hardly make nothing. We make better money part-time now than we did full-time back then. So technically, we took this ill-advised trip to Fort Wayne, Indiana for a Lumber King game, and she wanted to stay the night. I went previously on a trip before, the year before, when we got a hotel room, which it wasn't cheap out there. So I just told Angie, Angie, we can't afford a hotel. We can't even afford to make this trip. Jack, we got tickets to the game. I tried to tell her it costs us more to travel to and from than just to attend the game. But then you got to figure in food prices, not just food prices at the ball game, but food prices to and from during the trip, because you will get hungry during that trip. So she pressed on and pressed on and pressed on, so I decided to give in to save the relationship. I said, well, if we don't pay our rent, we don't pay our rent. Guess what happens? You won't pay your rent. Yep, that's right. Everybody knows it. So it was an ill-advised trip. We just managed to turk off. Got there, found out that the player never left tickets. So now we got to pay out of pocket for the tickets. And I said, Angie, I'm going to turn around and head home because it's not worth it already. Because it's already going way over budget already. No, let's go take in the game. Let's get the cheap seats. And we can always move in closer to the players later. Finding the cheap seats wasn't too cheap because even the cheap seats was higher than what we pay here, technically. So we had to wiggle in the budget, and I told Angie, I said, we can't eat a whole lot because you need money to get home because we're not staying there at night here. So, and I have to take the closest route. I have to take the closest route home, and I have to avoid the tolls, and that's what we had to do. We had to avoid the tolls as much as possible. And it wasn't easy, but we had to do it. We had a route in mind to avoid all tolls. And as soon as we got out of Chicago, we took our routes. But I'll get to the Chicago part on the way home after that, because you'd be amazed what happened. Okay, yeah, we went to the game. I forgot who won, who lost. It was a game that was played back and forth and all that stuff. So. When the game's over, I told Angie we're not staying to talk to the players. We got to get going so we'd be home in time because, unfortunately, we have stuff to do the next day because we had to go places. And we're not going to get stuck at someplace out in the middle of nowhere and that. So Angie, against my better wishes, technically, we stayed till we said the last goodbye to the player, and now we have to take off and that. So making the long trek home, we had to follow the one highway because we were too far south from the toll road, because the idea was we had to avoid the toll road, so we had to go through all the little towns in between from Fort Wayne till we got to near Chicago. Then we had to go up this one road. Then we had to go in this way. I forgot what other routes we took. Time we got on the interstate, the Dan Ryan, that's where things got interesting. This is like about 3:30 in the morning, and we did this trip coming home from Cedar Point one time, but we had to be home by a certain time to return the car because of a weather system that cost us a day at Cedar Point. That was back in 2016. But coming home from Fort Wayne ball game, and all of a sudden there was like, I don't know how many motorcycles, crotch rockets they were, and there was like, oh God, they were like going 120 to 140 on Dan Ryan. They were zooming back and forth inside the lane. Okay, since we're back, since we are kind of interrupted with all our neighbors, they had to take off real quick. Yeah, those crotch rockets, they were just zooming in and out of traffic like woo, woo, woo. I don't know how many of them they were, but they was passing us like we were standing still and that. So someone says, well, Chuck, where's law enforcement? Well, this happened on the south side of Chicago. They're mostly busy with the inner streets than the main interstate. Anyway, but they will, if one of them paid the ultimate price, it's called an accident. And luckily, it was not involved with us. And of course, it was one of those trips we didn't get home till almost like 5 in the morning, and we had to go a quick power nap, and we had to get up and do stuff. Yeah, it was an ill-advised trip, knowing that we had to do stuff the next morning, the next day, and it should have a trip that we should never take. But if we got involved in an accident with those crotch rockets, that's one thing we were worried about coming through Chicago. They say, Chuck, why didn't you just take Interstate 80 across? Well, then it's going to be out of our way because then we have to come north. And guess what? We got a toll booth near the one interchange. So, yeah, Illinois likes to have toll booth, but I think that toll booth is now gone, technically in a way. So that's good. So this way, people don't have to pay that one toll just to travel on Interstate 80. They can go basically toll free. Yeah, toll free. Get it? Yeah. One thing we learned from that trip is if you don't have now, because the advent of the internet, computer, it's easy to plan your trip, plan your budget, put your pencil and paper together, and book it through online sites, which is cheaper, like buy your tickets at the amusement park website. When we book our hotels, we book it directly with the hotel. It's cheaper than third party. Third party says, yeah, we got the deal, but if you book it directly through the hotel, you get a better deal yet. You can save an additional 10 to 20% more by booking directly with the hotel instead of the third party. Then there's always a chance you're not going to get nothing done and all that stuff. But yeah, like I said, the moral of the story is if you don't have the money to go, don't go. And that's why now I learned why we didn't go the week of my birthday, because it was the Mexico Independence Day weekend. Some of those hotel rooms was through the roof. I saw the ticket prices. This would be a week of my birthday, and I saw the hotel rates was just through the roof. I mean, big celebrations. I just watched a live stream where the place was packed. So that was not an advised trip to go when it gets that expensive. And of course, February is around the holidays. I said I'd rather just be closer to family around the holidays, especially Thanksgiving. I would love to have a Thanksgiving experience in Vegas, but maybe that's down the line later in life, but much later in life, possibly, and other stuff. But yeah, just don't go on a trip with a whim, because it will bite you in the butt. You know what also bite me in the butt? It's time to end this video. Please like, share, subscribe, don't forget to subscribe button, notification bell, and maybe one of these times we'll have another story time again.